Part 180. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1801. Seeing Xuanzang's appearance, Wu Yu had nothing to do. But Guanyin Bodhisattva looked at them quietly and said nothing to Wu Yu, but just her gaze made Wu Yu feel uncomfortable. It was obvious that Xuanzang would attack Guanyin Bodhisattva this time, and it was impossible for Wu Yu to intervene in a battle of this level. It is very likely that Guanyin Bodhisattva will die here. In this case, Wu Yu is the culprit who killed Guanyin Bodhisattva. I have already harmed Manjushri and Samantabhadra, how could Guanyin Bodhisattva also? Wu Yu felt very depressed inside, and he hated why he was so powerless now. On the other hand, he was also puzzled by Xuanzang's deception. Originally, he thought Xuanzang could be trusted, but he did not expect that Xuanzang would deceive Wu Yu about this matter, which made Wu Yu difficult to accept. Immediately afterwards, before Wu Yu could get over his guilt, a big battle started in front of him. Xuanzang directly attacked Guanyin Bodhisattva, and the mighty golden power of the Holy Buddha swept towards Guanyin Bodhisattva. Well! Guanyin Bodhisattva lamented, with helplessness in his voice, Xuanzang. Once upon a time, I introduced you to the path of Buddhism and became a disciple of Tathagata Buddha. Unexpectedly, now, you have become a traitor. After saying these words, Xuanzang was not moved at all. The mighty golden power of the Holy Buddha condensed into the giant Buddha's handprint like a tsunami and enveloped the Guanyin Bodhisattva. The next moment, the white Holy Buddha's light lit up from Guanyin Bodhisattva. It was a kind of holy and bright Holy Buddha power, which directly collided with Xuanzang's golden Holy Buddha power. A violent storm of the power of the Holy Buddha swept from the center toward the surroundings. The golden light and the white light intersected, making Wu Yu unable to open his eyes. Throughout the South China Sea, the sound of rumblings resounded throughout the entire area, shocking Wu Yu's whole body and making him almost unable to perceive anything around him. The strength of Guanyin Bodhisattva is the first of the four great Bodhisattvas, and is naturally much stronger than the previous Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva. So now the fight with Xuanzang immediately plunged the entire South China Sea into a catastrophe. Wu Yu was in this catastrophe and could only barely protect himself. Even if it was just the aftermath of the power of both sides, he even had to use some imperial magical powers to resist. The Ruyi golden cudgel condensed a layer of diamond shield in his hands, which allowed him to stand in the South China Sea where the power of the Holy Buddha was shaking. The world barely held on to itself. He could only hear some vague advice from Guanyin Bodhisattva, enveloped by the power of the white Holy Buddha. Xuanzang, it's time to turn around. Unfortunately, these voices of advice were quickly drowned out by the overwhelming power of the Holy Buddha. Both sides are extremely powerful, but it can be seen that Xuanzang still suppressed Guanyin, but not much. It will still take a long time to defeat Guanyin Bodhisattva. During the battle, Guanyin Bodhisattva mainly took a defensive posture, completely in a defensive posture, and had no intention of killing Xuanzang. On the other hand, Xuanzang's moves were deadly. Every time he struck, the vast space trembled. The power of the golden Holy Buddha was extremely sharp and wanted to kill Guanyin Bodhisattva. Such a battle made Wu Yu feel a little worried. Although Guanyin Bodhisattva should not be defeated in a short period of time, it seems that Xuanzang's aggressive offensive is too much. The key is that Xuanzang also deceived Wu Yu, which was the main reason for Wu Yu's discomfort. If Wu Yu was strong enough and could help, he would definitely side with Guanyin Bodhisattva now to prevent Xuanzang from killing Guanyin Bodhisattva. It's a pity that Wu Yu can only take care of himself now under the aftermath of the battle between the two sides. There was no way he could intervene in a battle of this level. But while the two sides were fighting so fiercely, there seemed to be many auras of the Immortal Emperor Immortal and the Immortal Emperor Demon coming from outside the South China Sea realm, which made Wu Yu frown slightly. Even Xuanzang was a little shocked when he felt the auras of those Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons. Because immediately after, Many Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons appeared directly from the space and came to the South China Sea. These Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons were personally led by the Jade Emperor, followed by the 10 palaces of Yama from 10,000 hells of hell, plus many other powerful Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons. They all came together to the South China Sea with an astonishing momentum. Xuanzang snorted coldly, "Master, I never imagined that you would be reduced to being with these puppets." He stopped taking action, and all the power of the golden holy Buddhas gathered around him to protect him. The commotion in the field finally stopped, which made Wu Yu relax a little. But the Jade Emperor came to the scene with the 10 powerful emperors from heaven and hell, including Yama, which made Wu Yu's mood suddenly become even more tense. Although he had objections to Xuanzang's deception and behavior, there was no doubt that Xuanzang was more cordial and friendly in his attitude towards Wu Yu. If Wu Yu fell into the hands of the Jade Emperor, he would probably die. At the very least, he would be imprisoned in the deepest part of the hell for eternity and be confined for at least 1,000,000 years. This was not a situation Wu Yu wanted to see. The Jade Emperor, along with many Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons, had just appeared in the South China Sea. He gave a cold command to have many Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons besiege Xuanzang. To them, Xuanzang was someone who came from outside the immortal realm. They all lost their memories and could not recognize Xuanzang's identity at all. Moreover, they did not pay much attention to Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. They were mainly here to capture Xuanzang. "Wu Yu, let's go." Xuanzang sighed lightly, knowing that it was impossible to kill Xuanhuan Bodhisattva today, so he wanted to take Wu Yu away. "Wu Yu, stay." At this moment, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva finally spoke and advised Wu Yu, "You follow Xuanzang, he has no good intentions towards you." Wu Yu felt something about Xuanhuan Bodhisattva's words. But he had no choice now. If he did not follow Xuanzang, he would definitely fall into the hands of the Jade Emperor with his current strength and would not be able to turn over. So he had to leave. "Sorry, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva." Wu Yu could only recite it silently in his heart, and then followed Xuanzang's footsteps. When many emperors and demons launched a terrifying offensive and swept towards Xuanzang, Xuanzang just waved his sleeves, and a burst of golden Buddha light took Wu Yu away from the South China Sea. Wu Yu was in a very complicated mood at this time. After coming out of the South Sea realm, he seemed to realize that Xuanzang was not as trustworthy as he thought. Even if the other things Xuanzang said were true, his values towards things and life were different from Wu Yu's. As the saying goes, people with different philosophies cannot work together. Wu Yu did not want to stay with Xuanzang any longer. Of course, he had no choice now. If he wanted to escape from the clutches of the Jade Emperor, he had to follow Xuanzang. "I am a little tired from writing today, so I will update once and go to bed early at night. There will be no more tomorrow morning." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1802. Chapter 1796 Don't go along with each other. The appearance of the Jade Emperor left Wu Yu with no choice. Although Xuanhuan Bodhisattva asked him to stay, and he was more willing to believe in Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, with the Jade Emperor present, he knew that he would not end well if he stayed. After all, Xuanzang and the Jade Emperor were equally equal, beings of the same level. The Xuanhuan Bodhisattva is slightly weaker in comparison, and there are so many top-notch Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons in the field. Just one Xuanhuan Bodhisattva cannot prevent Wu Yu from being taken away by the Jade Emperor. In this case, Wu Yu only has one choice left. Xuanzang took him away from the South China Sea realm, and then Wu Yu used the Ruyi golden cudgel to cast the immortal realm bridge, creating a golden vortex leading to the Tianfo immortal realm. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Soon, Xuanzang and Wu Yu returned to the heavenly Buddha immortal realm through this golden whirlpool. After returning to the Supreme Buddha realm, Wu Yu was relieved. But Wu Yu felt very uncomfortable with Xuanzang next to him. To be honest, he didn't really want to be with Xianzang anymore. After all, everyone is unhappy to be deceived. Wu Yu was deceived by Xianzang, thus killing the innocent Bodhisattva Manjushri and Samantabhadra, and even nearly killed Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. All of this was Wu Yu's responsibility. Wu Yu simply couldn't agree with Xuanzang's approach. After returning to the Supreme Buddha realm, Xianzang continued to explain to Wu Yu, don't blame me. There is really no way to do this. The Buddha immortal realm must have a master of the immortal realm. The heart of the world must be reshaped, otherwise, the entire fairyland will perish sooner or later. Wu Yu shook his head and said, I just can't accept the way you deceived me. Now Wu Yu felt as if he was being used and could no longer trust Xianzang as before. Even now Wu Yu has doubts. Is the truth about the heavenly palace and the heavenly Buddha realm really due to the Jade Emperor's active invasion, as Xianzang said? Before that, Xianzang had said everything so clearly that Wu Yu basically had no doubts, and it sounded like it should be the truth. But now, Wu Yu is not sure about this at all. Because originally, what Xianzang said about reshaping the heart of the world sounded true, but in the end, he was deceiving Wu Yu. If he continues to stay with Xianzang, Wu Yu doesn't know if he will be used more. No matter what, Wu Yu has now lost the respect and trust he had for Xianzang. It is basically impossible for him to help Xianzang like before. I want to go back to the demon god realm and calm down first, Wu Yu said to Xianzang straightforwardly. In this heavenly Buddha realm, he always felt that he was a little ashamed of Manjushri and Samantabhadra. Although he has never had any communication with them, and Wu Yu has not even seen the Buddhist world after their death, judging from the attitude of Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, these two should be quite kind. Such a well-intentioned Bodhisattva was actually killed by Xianzang because Wu Yu opened the passage to the world of Sumuru, which made Wu Yu feel very sad. However, after hearing Wu Yu's words, Xianzang shook his head and advised, the Jade Emperor and others may not have no way to go to the demon and god realm. It is safer for you to stay in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm. The words made Wu Yu frown slightly. It sounds like Xianzang wants to put him under house arrest. But so far, Xuanzang's attitude towards him is not bad, at least he has never forced him to do anything. In fact, Wu Yu felt that with Xuanzang's strength, even if he was forced to do something, he might not be able to resist. Why did he resort to deception? This question lingered in Wu Yu's mind, causing him to start thinking unconsciously. But now he found that he knew too little about Xianzang, and no matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't come up with any results. Feeling that Xianzang seemed to want to put him under house arrest, Wu Yu knew that he could not conflict with him head-on now. He could only nodded and said, okay, then I'll stay here. In fact, I just didn't react for a while, but after thinking about it carefully, I feel that what Master said makes sense. Although he already disliked Xianzang, now he didn't show it at all on the surface. On the contrary, his words sounded like he understood Xianzang. This was Wu Yu's attempt to make Xianzang relax his vigilance, so that he would not look too closely at him and give him no chance to leave the heavenly Buddha immortal domain. After saying this, he glanced outside the Supreme Buddha realm and sighed. Master, the Buddha immortal realm is in such chaos today. Whether it is a holy Buddha or a mortal being, they are all living in water and fire. If they disagree, they may lose their lives. I wonder, Master, if there is any solution now? Wu Yu asked with a sigh. This is true. In Wu Yu's eyes, the holy Buddhas in the entire heavenly Buddha immortal domain are basically in a state of eruption at any time. Even the holy Buddhas may die at any time, and it is really tragic that they have to fight for life and death because of some trivial things. As for the mortal beings living in the realm of the holy Buddhas, they are even less able to control their own destiny. When saints and Buddhas fight, mortal beings will only die. During these millions of years, I don't know how many mortals died in the battle between the saints and Buddhas, and were integrated into the Buddhist world, becoming the victims of the saints and Buddha's excitement and fighting? Hearing Wu Yu's words, Xianzang also sighed. He swept his eyes around, with a bit of compassion, and was obviously very helpless about the current situation of Tianfo Xianyu. He had no choice but to say, for the time being, we can only try to use the Buddhist world of three bodhisattvas to try to reshape the world heart. If it succeeds, the current situation of Tianfo Xianyu will be somewhat improved. Wu Yu nodded, pretending to agree, and encouraged, then it depends on the master, it must succeed, otherwise, the saints and sentient beings in Tianfo Xianyu are really pitiful. After hearing Wu Yu's words, Xianzang sighed and turned away. He should want to try to see if he can use the Buddhist world of three bodhisattvas to reshape the world heart. But not long after Xianzang left, Wu Yu seized the opportunity and directly crossed the bridge from Tianfo Immortal Realm and returned to the Demon God Realm. His agreement with Xianzang just now was completely fake. In fact, Wu Yu no longer wanted to be with Xianzang. As the saying goes, people with different ideologies cannot work together. No matter what kind of difficulties he had, he could not understand and agree with Xuanzang's style of doing things. So, if he had a chance, he must leave first. And when Wu Yu left, Xianzang finally reacted. He was actually deceived by Wu Yu's appearance. There will be more tomorrow morning. Crazy will continue to write. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1803. After Wu Yu left the Tianfo Immortal Realm, he returned directly to the Demon and God Realm. For him, maybe Xianzang had his own mission, but he really couldn't continue to be with him. Of course, Wu Yu brought Luo Bin and the others back together. When they returned to the burial site of the Yongsheng Emperor, everyone felt a little sad. I didn't expect that I would eventually come back to this place, Luo Bin said with a wry smile. Yeah, I thought I could practice well in the Tianfo Immortal Realm, and finally save the Tianfo Immortal Realm and avenge the seniors in the Demon and God Realm. Yezixi was also a little confused. Wu Yu, on the other hand, shook his head and said comfortingly, there is no way. Now I am not even sure whether what Xianzang said before is the truth. If I continue to be with him, I will not be able to overcome this problem in my heart. Just after saying this, everyone suddenly noticed a familiar and dexterous figure jumping over in front of them. In the burial of the Eternal Emperor, apart from them, there was only one living creature left, and that was the grey little six-eared macaque. But now Wu Yu and the others know that this little grey macaque is Xuanzang's microphone. As for whether the little macaque represents something else, they don't know. But they saw this little grey macaque jumping in front of Wu Yu and the others, and he spoke just like last time. The voice that came out was indeed the same voice as last time, the Supreme Buddha Xianzang from the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Domain. But now, Wu Yu no longer wanted to hear what he had to say. Therefore, Wu Yu was too lazy to pay attention to the little macaque, so he could only lock it up and keep it out of earshot. When Wu Yu locked up the six-eared macaque, he probably heard some words from Xianzang. The general meaning is that Xianzang knew that what he did made Wu Yu very angry, but he asked Wu Yu to forgive him and return to the Tianfo fairyland for the sake of the overall situation, otherwise the consequences might be serious. It's a pity that since Wu Yu has left, there is no possibility of going back. At least for now, it seems that the Demon God Realm is relatively safe. If the Jade Emperor could really discover this place, I'm afraid he would have discovered it long ago. Therefore, Wu Yu was not worried about being discovered by the Jade Emperor in a short time. After locking up the little six-eared macaque, he began to separate from the others and continue to practice individually. Now, Wu Yu is more determined to become stronger. Because he discovered that the reason why he has been led by others to this day is entirely because of his lack of strength. Whether he wants to uncover the true truth of that year, avenge his predecessors in the demon god realm, or truly control his own destiny, Wu Yu must become stronger. The 7th level of Immortal Emperor Immortal's strength is far from enough. So, he began to practice the 7th level of the Holy Buddha realm in the burial of the Eternal Emperor. The 7th level of the Supreme Saint Buddha realm is called the Sea of Dharma. Corresponding to the Sea of Heaven, it is necessary to build a Sea of Dharma in the Buddhist world to form a world completely filled with Dharma. This is relatively difficult for Wu Yu. After all, he did not start practicing from the Holy Buddha, and his knowledge of Buddhism is basically limited to the indestructible body of Vajra. However, he still has his own advantage, which is the swallowing from the sky-swallowing giant beast. He has devoured some holy Buddhas in the past, so he still has a little understanding of Buddhism. In addition, he can also rely on the study of some holy Buddha relics. With more hard work, he should be able to achieve this step. The ability to swallow is indeed the most heaven-defying method in the world. Without the help of the sky-devouring body, Wu Yu would never be able to reach what he is now. Now, he wants to raise the realm of the Holy Buddha to the 7th level, mainly relying on the ability to devour. Finally, another 30,000 years passed, and Wu Yu finally created the entire Sea of Dharma through the remains and relics of the Holy Buddha he had devoured. On his huge Golden Buddha world, Golden Buddha Dharma began to be promoted everywhere, converging into a golden ocean of Dharma. In Wu Yu's Golden Buddha world, there are already some mortal beings, and some have even become Buddhas through cultivation. When the Golden Sea of Dharma appears, these ordinary Buddhas can begin to continue practicing towards higher levels and continue to increase Wu Yu's power. Now in Wu Yu's heaven-swallowing emperor realm, there have been many immortals whose realms are constantly improving. Together with the Buddhas on the huge Golden Buddha realm, Wu Yu has been doubly strengthened. His own strength has also been strengthened by the combination of the Buddha realm and the Buddha realm. The overall improvement of the imperial realm will make it stronger. The realm of the Supreme Saint Buddha, the 7th level, the 7th level of the Immortal Emperor Immortal. When these two cultivation methods reached the 7th level, Wu Yu's combat effectiveness was raised to a new level. If he had used two completely different powers to fight against Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva at this time, he probably wouldn't have been crushed so miserably. During these 30,000 years, Nanshan Wanjiao still occasionally goes to the heavenly palace quietly. On the one hand, he cannot bear the loneliness and wants to go out for some air. On the other hand, he can also inquire about the situation a little. Anyway, with his current methods, he is not a top emperor immortal. There was no way to catch him. Just when Wu Yu had just broken through the realm of the Holy Buddha to the 7th level and was consolidating his cultivation, Nanshan Wanjiao returned to the demon god realm from the heavenly palace again. And this time, Nanshan Wanjiao brought back a big news. Old Wu, it's not good. Nanshan Wanjiao rushed back not long after he went out, and he looked anxious. What's wrong? Seeing him like this, Wu Yu also knew that something big had probably happened, and his expression sank slightly. Luo Bin and Yezixi also came over. After all, if something big happened in the Tiangong fairyland now, they might not be able to avoid it, otherwise Nanshan Wanjiao would not be so anxious. The Tiangong fairyland has been invaded. Nanshan Wanjiao said solemnly, just near the well of eternal life in Dragon God Heaven, a huge golden passage suddenly appeared, and countless holy Buddhas are constantly rushing in from that golden passage. Those holy Buddhas are all black holy Buddhas from the Tianfo fairyland. When they came to the Tiangong fairyland, they began to slaughter the immortals. Now the two fairylands have fought together. When Nanshan Wanjiao told this situation, Wu Yu and the others all opened their eyes wide, a little unbelievable. The passage between the Tianfo fairyland and the Tiangong fairyland was actually opened. How is this possible? Wu Yu was extremely shocked. He originally thought that if he wanted to open the passage between the two fairylands, he could only rely on the Ruyi Jingbang in his hand. But he didn't expect that after he had been hiding in the demon god realm for so long, there was actually a way to open up the golden passage in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm and let the holy Buddha invade the heavenly palace immortal realm. This incident made Wu Yu vaguely feel that the matter was not simple, and he became more suspicious of the so-called truth that Xianzang had told him before. You know, Xianzang said that the Jade Emperor led the Emperor Immortals to invade the heavenly Buddha immortal realm and destroy the demon god realm. But now, it was the Black Holy Buddha who came through the passage and slaughtered the Emperor Immortals gods. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1804. Chapter 1798 10 Directions Heavenly Venerable Heiran Jinayan. After learning the news, Wu Yu quickly led everyone back to the heavenly palace in a hurry. No matter what, Wu Yu thought that the person who had the closest relationship with Xianzang in the entire heavenly palace fairyland was him. This time, Xianzang was able to open up the channel between the two realms and let the holy Buddha invade the heavenly palace fairyland. It is very likely that it was because of him. Although the situation is not clear now, Wu Yu always felt a premonition. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow circled M. If it weren't for him, Xianzang might have invaded the heavenly palace fairyland long ago, so why wait until now? Although Wu Yu was extremely surprised that Xianzang opened up the channel between the two realms and let the holy Buddha invade the heavenly palace fairyland, he could never have thought of it. But this thing has already happened, it has become a fact, and it cannot be denied at all. Therefore, Wu Yu must go to the heavenly palace to see what is going on. He quickly returned to the heavenly palace and came to the dragon god heaven. As soon as he arrived here, his vision was full of devastation and ruins. Before Wu Yu saw the holy Buddha and the Emperor Immortal, he found that the entire dragon god heaven had been destroyed by more than half, and all kinds of terrifying forces filled the space, and endless void fragments flew everywhere. If you don't reach the level of the Emperor Immortal, even if you are just affected by such power, you will have only one way to go. Wu Yu walked forward quickly and soon saw that the Shenlong clan was the first to bear the brunt of the battle. A golden passage appeared in the direction of the Well of Eternal Life, forming a gap in space, and black holy Buddhas kept breaking in from it. The Buddha realms of these holy Buddhas are all black, and they are all fierce and evil. After coming to the Tiangong immortal realm, they all feel that there is a strong fairy spirit here, and of course they don't want to leave again. You must know that in the Tianfo immortal realm, the living environment for their holy Buddhas to practice is extremely poor. Without the holy Buddha's relics, there is only one way to go, and if you want to snatch the holy Buddha's relics, you are more likely to be killed by other stronger holy Buddhas. But the Tiangong immortal realm is different. In this fairyland, the fairy spirit is too rich. Even if they hide in one place and practice all the time, they will never be able to consume all the fairy spirit, which is completely endless. Therefore, when these holy Buddhas came here from the Golden Channel, they directly thought of staying here. In addition, they are all violent and can't stand the slightest stimulation. When they just came here, some emperors asked them a few words directly, which made these holy Buddhas extremely impatient and took action immediately. At this moment, many ordinary emperors have died in the hands of these holy Buddhas. These holy Buddhas are fierce and brutal. Once they start to fight, they will not stop until they die. After killing several emperors, they see more and more emperors coming, and naturally they become more and more violent, and their killing intent becomes stronger and stronger, and they can't stop at all. At this moment, the dragon emperors and dragon lords of the Shenlong clan have all come to the dragon god heaven. As for the fairy dragon emperor realm, it has been sealed by the 9 dragon emperors of the Shenlong clan. Even so, the entire dragon god heaven has turned into a ruin, and the space in all directions is constantly being annihilated. More and more void cracks appear and continue to wander in the dragon god heaven. The 9 dragon emperors, including the Tianxin dragon emperor, are now fighting against those holy Buddhas. However, the Shenlong clan has been in decline in recent years, and there are not many dragon masters in the realm of Emperor Immortals. Facing the endless black holy Buddhas, they are obviously unable to support it. Those black holy Buddhas came from the Golden Channel, each with a greedy and brutal expression. The huge black Buddha realm appeared in all directions of the dragon god heaven, and the number was far greater than that of the Emperor Immortals of the Fairy Dragon clan. Tianxin Dragon Emperor and other 9 Dragon Emperors fought at the forefront, fighting against the strongest holy Buddhas in this batch. There are 2 familiar faces among them, namely Namo Jingjin Buddha and Namo Jingjin Xi Buddha. These 2 holy Buddhas have strange smiles on their faces. Even in the fierce battle, they always keep smiling, which looks a bit gloomy and extremely weird. But these 2 holy Buddhas, when they were in the Tianfo immortal realm, joined forces to kill too many other holy Buddhas. At that time, even Wu Yu could only avoid their sharp edge. Unexpectedly, they actually passed through this golden channel and came to the Tiangong immortal realm first and took action. These 2 holy Buddhas are very violent. They can actually resist the fierce attack of the 9 dragon emperors together. Although they are slightly weak, their strength has made the 9 dragon emperors change color. These 2 holy Buddhas actually have such terrifying strength. But they have a weird smile on their faces, which makes people shudder when they see it. It really makes people feel that there is a sharp edge behind them. As for other holy Buddhas, there is no such strong existence, but this is only in Wu Yu's eyes. And for the many emperors and dragon lords of Longshenchen, each of these holy Buddhas is difficult to deal with. Wu Yu even saw that Wu Jun, who joined the Dragon Lord Association a long time ago and was named Xianling Dragon Lord, was fighting with a holy Buddha of the 2nd level of the Supreme Holy Buddha realm. Even if it was the 2nd level of the Supreme Saint Buddha realm, it would be quite difficult for Wu Jun to defeat the opponent. After all, he was only at the 2nd level of the Eternal Emperor Immortal realm. Seeing this scene, Wu Yu wanted to stand up and help the Emperor Immortal Dragons of Longshen Tian. After all, the arrival of these Saint Buddhas was probably partly related to Wu Yu. At this moment, before Wu Yu could take action, a group of powerful men from heaven suddenly descended on this heavenly palace. It was the Jade Emperor who finally arrived with many other emperors and immortals. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. As soon as he saw the Jade Emperor appearing, Wu Yu resisted the urge to take action. Anyway, with the Jade Emperor here, there will definitely be no problems with the Dragon God. But as soon as the Jade Emperor appeared, an aura of awe-inspiring fairy spirit emerged from the almost destroyed Dragon God heaven, and quickly condensed into a giant square mark. The heavenly lords of the 10 directions suppress the seal awe-inspiringly. As this awe-inspiring seal of righteousness shrouded downwards in an instant, the entire space of Dragon God heaven was shaken by it. Nanmo Jingjin Marching Buddha and Namo Jingjin Zifo originally invaded the heavenly palace immortal realm with extremely powerful postures, with evil smiles on their respective black Buddha realm faces. But the next moment, he was completely suppressed by the awe-inspiring seal of the 10 directions heavenly lord. The Jade Emperor took action, and his terrifying imperial power instantly killed these 2 terrifying and ferocious giant Buddhas. Seal up. Immediately afterwards, a burst of golden light burst out from the hands of the Jade Emperor. He wanted to seal the golden channel through which the Holy Buddha continuously poured out. But at this moment, the golden passage suddenly disappeared on its own initiative before the Jade Emperor took action. This scene made many emperors and immortals of Longshenchen breathe a sigh of relief. The Jade Emperor frowned slightly. Get rid of these intruders first. The Jade Emperor spoke majestically, and even planned to take the lead, not intending to give these holy Buddhas a chance. But at this moment, a piece of news came. Another golden passage appeared in Kanglang Tian, and many intruders appeared. When this news came, everyone in Longshenchen was shocked. Continue tomorrow morning. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1805. Chapter 1799, The Living Beings Suffer. When this news came, even Wu Yu was shocked again. The golden passage of Longshenchen was directly closed, and then the golden passage appeared in Kanglangtian. From then on, it can be clearly seen that Xianzang has mastered the passage connecting the two fairy realms. But, the Ruyi golden cudgel is clearly in my hand. Wu Yu even doubted whether the Ruyi golden cudgel in his hand was fake. But when he held the Ruyi golden cudgel, he could fully feel the mighty and surging aura in it, a feeling similar to family affection, connected with his flesh and blood. So he could be sure that the golden cudgel in his hand was real. So what means did Xianzang use to open the passage between the two realms? Wu Yu was extremely confused about this. He did not take action in Longshenchen because he was afraid of being discovered by the Jade Emperor, and he would definitely not be able to escape from the palm of the Jade Emperor's hand. And after the news of the Golden Passage came from Kanglangtian, the Jade Emperor went directly to Kanglangtian, intending to block the newly appeared Golden Passage. In this Dragon God Heaven, there are some heavenly soldiers and generals at the level of Emperor Immortal, who fight against the invading Holy Buddha together with the Emperor Immortals of the Dragon Clan of Dragon God Heaven. The entire Dragon God Heaven was almost destroyed, and there were scenes of devastation everywhere. Many ordinary gods and immortals had already died in the hands of the Holy Buddha. Even when Dragon God Heaven was destroyed, the vortex cracks in the void that swept everywhere would sooner or later kill all the creatures in Dragon God Heaven who had not reached the level of Emperor Immortal. They can only survive by passing through the well of eternal life and going to other heavy heavenly palaces. Even the Emperor Immortals were constantly destroyed under the attack of the Holy Buddha. You must know that in the heavenly court, although there are many Emperor Immortals, the number of strong people who have truly reached the fifth level of Emperor Immortal is indeed limited. The fifth level of Emperor Immortal is already the level of the four heavenly kings and the ancient giant spirit god, and is well known in the entire heavenly court. However, many of the ferocious holy Buddhas who invaded the heavenly court have surpassed this level. If the heavenly court had not responded quickly and sent Erlang Shenyang Jian, Dongfang Kongjin Chendi and other stronger emperors to suppress Longshenchen, the entire Longshenchen would probably have been occupied by the Holy Buddha. Wu Yu saw with his own eyes that under the invasion of the ferocious Holy Buddha, some emperors were torn to pieces by those huge black Buddha realms, and even the emperor realms in their bodies were completely shattered, and countless mortals died in an instant. As for those holy Buddhas who encountered life and death crises, the mortals and ordinary Buddhas in their black Buddha realms were all integrated into the Buddha realm by them to improve their own combat power. This cruel and cold fighting method made all the emperors in the heavenly court tear their eyes out. Life and death, in the eyes of these invaders, are so cheap. When the emperors of the heavenly court fight, at least they will not devour all the mortals in their own emperor realms to improve their combat power. The entire Longshenchen is full of cruel scenes. In addition to seeing the destruction of the demon god realm in the eternal emperor burial, he also witnessed such a large-scale battle between the emperors and immortals. In the extraordinary battle, mortals suffered and lives were destroyed. In this short period of time, Dragon God Heaven was almost destroyed. Even the Saint Buddhas who invaded Dragon God Heaven were almost wiped out by the emperors and immortals of heaven, but the dragon emperors and dragon lords of the immortal dragon clan were now full of grief and anger. For them, Dragon God Heaven is of great significance. It is the gate connecting heaven to the immortal dragon emperor realm. There are too many people's memories here, and even Wu Yu has a deep impression of this place. He still remembers the scene when he went from here to the immortal dragon emperor realm to find Luo Bin not long after he came to heaven. But now, looking around, it is already a ruin and ashes. Countless mortals died in this battle, and even gods and emperors died in the battle. And from Wu Yu's perspective, it is different from other emperors and immortals. In the eyes of other emperors, these invading black holy Buddhas are brutal invaders, but only Wu Yu knows that these holy Buddhas have become so brutal and fierce because they have lost their holy Buddha heart. If it weren't for the war that almost destroyed the Tianfo fairyland, these holy Buddhas would also be very gentle and kind, and respected people who use Buddhism to save people. There were casualties everywhere. But in Wu Yu's opinion, none of these people should die. He clenched his fists tightly, even his nails pierced into the flesh, and gritted his teeth. He wanted to know what was going on with the Supreme Buddha Xianzang. How could he open the passage between the two fairy lands, and how could he let the Holy Buddha invade and kill the emperors of the heaven? Nothing could be known. The image of a young and gentle monk emerged in his mind. It was the Supreme Buddha Xianzang. Some time ago, Wu Yu even trusted him so much. But now, Xianzang has done such a heinous thing. Just when Wu Yu was thinking this, a communication talisman was passed to him, which made him pay attention. It turned out to be Bodhi Patriarch. Wu Yu was a little surprised when he saw the source of the communication talisman, and then his expression immediately became solemn. Since he made a big mistake before and was chased by the Jade Emperor, Bodhi Patriarch has not looked for him again. At this juncture, since Bodhi Patriarch came to him, he must have something important to discuss with him. He received the content of the communication talisman and found that Bodhi Patriarch actually asked him to go to the South Sea realm to meet them. Wu Yu thought about it, and almost without any hesitation, he went to the South Sea realm. After all, there are almost no people that Wu Yu can trust now. The only person he can still trust, besides Bodhi Patriarch, is Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, and the South Sea realm is where Xuanhuan Bodhisattva is. When Wu Yu came to the South Sea realm for the third time, he found that Bodhi Patriarch and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva were here. Wu Yu, you are here. When they saw Wu Yu, the two seniors looked at him, and it can be seen that they were in a heavy mood. Especially Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, there was some grief and anger in her eyes. When Wu Yu came, she said directly, I didn't expect that Xuanzang's goal was not to reshape the heart of the Holy Buddha realm, but to use the Buddha realm of the three great Bodhisattvas to open up the Sumi world, and use the Sumi world as a bridge to connect the Tianfo fairyland and the Tiangong fairyland. After hearing her words, Wu Yu's face changed. Before coming to the South Sea realm, he was still wondering how Xianzang opened the passage between the two realms. I didn't expect it to be done like this. Ksatagarbha Bodhisattva, Manjusri Bodhisattva, and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Wu Yu's face became somewhat sad. The fact that the Buddhist worlds of these three Bodhisattvas were obtained by Xianzang was almost directly related to him. If he had not used the Ruyi Jingbang to open the door for Xianzang, how could Xianzang have taken advantage of it? In this way, the invasion of the Holy Buddha in the heavenly palace was also caused by him. Even if he was deceived by Xianzang, he could not escape the blame. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1806. After Xuanhuan Bodhisattva's talk, Wu Yu finally knew that the two immortal realms, Tianfo Immortal Realm and Tiangong Immortal Realm, were now connected by the Sumuru world. Xianzang used the Buddhist realm of the three Bodhisattvas to open up the Sumuru channel, which is equivalent to having complete control over the opening and closing of the channel, and taking the initiative at any time. And Xuanzang's move directly caused the destruction of the two worlds, and countless lives died. In the Celestial Palace and Immortal Realm, more and more celestial palaces will be destroyed, and more emperors, gods, saints and Buddhas will die. The point is, Wu Yu simply couldn't figure out what the benefits of Xuanzang's doing this were. Senior Xuanhuan, what is the use of Xianzang doing such outrageous things? Wu Yu couldn't help but ask. Also, Xianzang said before that it was the Jade Emperor who took the initiative to launch the invasion and shattered the heart of the Holy Buddha realm in the Tianfo Immortal Domain into what it is now, and the Jade Emperor was everything, the mastermind. Alas! You were deceived by him. At this time, Patriarch Bodhi sighed, and after looking at Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, he nodded and said, "Actually, the reason why the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm and the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm became what they are now has nothing to do with the Jade Emperor. Relationship, everything is entirely due to the arrival of a giant beast from the sky. Behemoth from the sky." Wu Yu was a little confused after hearing what Patriarch Bodhi said. This is the first time he has heard of a giant beast from the sky. He was a little angry at this time. After all, he didn't expect Xuanzang to deceive him about such an important matter. The Jade Emperor caused the destruction of 2 immortal realms, and the forgetfulness curse were probably Xuanzang's lies. But he didn't think too much about it, because he was eager to know what happened back then, so he asked nervously, "What was the origin of the giant beast outside that day? Why have I never heard of it?" Xuanhuan Bodhisattva immediately told everything. It turns out that the giant beast outside the sky is a giant beast that can swallow everything in the world. It comes from outside the sky, and no one knows where it comes from. But as soon as the giant beast from outside the sky came to the Tiangong Immortal Territory, it quickly devoured the entire Tiangong Immortal Territory. Now all the emperors and immortals in the Tiangong Immortal Territory have become the puppets of this giant beast from outside the sky. Part of the animal's body. Including the Jade Emperor, the other emperors and immortals have actually died long ago, so they have no memory of the past. Regarding the Monkey King and the Ruyi Golden Cudgel, these emperors will have no memory at all. This giant beast from the sky calls himself Master Cat. In fact, including the world of demons and gods, it was actually completely destroyed by the Emperor Immortal under his control. Patriarch Bodhi said, it wasn't until later that this cat invaded the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm and wanted to devour the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm as well. Only then did he finally meet his opponent. That was the Lord of the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm, who was called Tathagata Buddha, the Supreme Being. Master Cat, Tathagata Buddha. Wu Yu frowned slightly after hearing these 2 titles. Xuanzang had heard the word Tathagata before in his conversation with Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. He didn't expect that this Tathagata was actually the Buddha, the Lord of the Immortal Realm of Heavenly Buddha. It sounds like the current Supreme Buddha Xuanzang should be a disciple of this Tathagata Buddha. But why did Xuanzang become like this? Patriarch Bodhi continued, the giant cat outside the sky fought with the Tathagata Buddha, during which the Holy Buddha's world mind was destroyed. However, the Tathagata Buddha sacrificed himself and severely injured the giant cat outside the sky, causing it to sleep until now. And Xuanzang, as a disciple of Tathagata Buddha, actually chose to live an ignoble existence and took refuge in the giant beast cat lord from outside the sky, so that he could save his life. As for what Xuanzang is thinking now, none of us know. After hearing these words, Wu Yu finally understood. The truth of the whole thing is completely different from what Xuanzang said. However, it is conceivable that Xuanzang himself, as a traitor, would not be able to tell Wu Yu the truth about this matter. It's just that Xuanzang's attitude towards Wu Yu has always been very good. Now it seems that everything is just to take advantage of Wu Yu. Now, he used Wu Yu to obtain the Buddha realm of the 3 Bodhisattvas, opened up the Sumuru world, and successfully connected the 2 realms of the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm and the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm, completely plunging the 2 realms into chaos. From this point of view, Xuanzang has no good intentions at all, and the Jade Emperor is just a puppet. It is very possible that Xuanzang is the spokesperson of the giant beast outside the sky. It is also possible that Xuanzang wants to do something while the giant beast outside the sky is sleeping. In short, no one knows what he is thinking now. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva said calmly, now it seems that he has no intention of reshaping the world heart. Instead, he wants to cause chaos in the 2 immortal realms. But not even Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and Patriarch Bodhi knew what Xuanzang wanted to do and what his ultimate goal was. After Wu Yu heard the series of truths, his mind was a little confused for a moment. Now it seems that there is no one who can be trusted in the entire Tianfo immortal realm. As for the Heavenly Palace immortal realm, the original older generation of Emperor Immortals were basically the puppets of the sky-swallowing giant beast, and part of their willpower was not the real Emperor Immortal at all. Only the new Emperor Immortals like Wu Yu, Luo Bin, and Wu Jun are the real Emperor Immortals. Based on this calculation, the entire Tiangong immortal realm has actually perished long ago. Such a cruel truth, coupled with the fact that the two immortal realms were now connected and countless lives were in ruins, Wu Yu subconsciously clenched his fists. He wants to change all that. He wanted to restore the original peace and tranquility of this fairyland. But all this requires strength. Now his strength is obviously not enough to fight against Xianzang. In this case, he can only act with Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. At least now Xuanzang's invasion of the Tiangong fairyland must be stopped. Even if most of the emperors in the heavenly court are actually dead and are puppets of the giant beast, there are still many mortals and ordinary gods. Most of these mortals and ordinary gods are real. They are the creatures born in this fairyland, real flesh and blood spirits. Now if you want to stop Xianzang, there is only one way, that is to destroy the Sumi channel from the source. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva said, Wu Yu, you have the Ruyi Jinggu Bang, which can take us into the Sumi world. As long as we enter the Sumi world, find the Sumi channel opened by Xianzang and destroy it. Okay. Wu Yu nodded solemnly. Now he has a great responsibility. He has to not only avenge the demon god realm and the monkey king, but also save the people in the two major fairy realms. Wu Yu then tightly grasped the Ruyi Jinggu Bang and activated the 6th level of its ability, the Sumi Passage. A space vortex with mysterious power appeared in front of him. It was the entrance to the Sumi world. There will be another one tomorrow morning. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1807. Chapter 1801 Emperors and Immortals Gathering. Avalokitesvara, Bodhi Patriarch, and Wu Yu, the three of them looked at the entrance to the Sumi world that appeared before them, knowing that it was the source of Xuanzang's invasion of the Heavenly Palace Fairyland. The fastest way to stop Xuanzang's invasion of the Heavenly Palace Fairyland was to destroy the Sumi Passage in the Sumi world. Wu Yu now looked into the Sumi world and saw that it was still the same as before, a world of completely disordered size. Many things that were originally huge have now become extremely small. And many things that were originally very small have become towering giants. Once before, Xianzang asked Wu Yu not to go in, otherwise he might be in danger inside. At that time, Wu Yu believed it, but now he knew very well that it was just Xuanzang's words to deceive him. If Wu Yu also went in with Xianzang, it would be inconvenient for Xianzang to attack Manjusri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Even if he did, it would make Wu Yu suspicious. Unfortunately, when Wu Yu used the Sumi channel, he still trusted Xianzang and never thought that Xianzang would deceive him. Wu Yu now blames himself even more, but the incident has already happened, and he can only try to make up for it. Let's go. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva took Bodhi Patriarch and Wu Yu and headed towards the Sumi world at the same time. They must act quickly, otherwise Xianzang will react, and the three of them may not be Xuanzang's opponent. At that time, let alone destroying the fairyland channel of the Sumi world, even they themselves will be in danger. So, the three of them entered the Sumi world directly. As soon as he entered the Sumi world, Wu Yu felt that there was a strange power surrounding him. Under the influence of this power, he felt that his body was out of his control. It seems that he may change his size at any time, and even the magical power of the law of heaven and earth may not be able to be successfully displayed in the Sumi world. It is possible that he wants to become bigger, but the result is to become smaller. It is possible that he wanted to become as small as dust, but ended up becoming extremely huge, covering the sky and the sun. So, Wu Yu could only follow Bodhi Patriarch and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, trying to find the passage created by Xuanzang to connect the two fairy land in the Sumi world. But before they really started to act, the three of them looked forward and their expressions suddenly became solemn. Because in front of them, a young and elegant monk appeared. The young monk had a gentle expression and looked at ease. It was the Supreme Buddha Xuanzang. He actually guessed that Wu Yu and the others were going to come to the Sumi world to stop him, so he had been waiting for them in the Sumi world. Behind Xuanzang, there were 9 huge golden Buddha realms. The 9 Buddha realms were not even affected by the mysterious power of the Sumi world in the Sumi world, and became extremely huge. When Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and the others arrived, the huge eyes of the 9 Buddha realms looked towards them one after another. At this moment, it seemed as if there was an unbearable pressure rushing towards the 3 people. Wu Yu. When the two sides met, Xuanzang spoke first. His tone was still gentle, and he seemed to have some difficulties. You must understand the master. All the things the master did were for the people of the world. When Xuanzang spoke, he also glanced at Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. He saw that Xuanhuan Bodhisattva only had the true body of the Holy Buddha, and did not bring the Buddhist world into the Sumi world. He seemed a little disappointed. As soon as he saw his eyes, Wu Yu guessed that Xuanzang might not have given up on Xuanhuan Bodhisattva's Buddhist world and still wanted to get her Buddhist world. Go. Bodhi Patriarch made a prompt decision without any hesitation. With Xuanzang blocking here, and even the 9 golden Buddhist worlds present, they simply could not successfully destroy the passage to the Sumi world. If they did not leave and stayed in the Sumi world, then no one would be able to leave, and they would all fall into Xuanzang's hands. Wu Yu knew the seriousness of the current situation, and immediately activated the Ruyi Jinggu Bang to reopen the Sumi passage. Xuanzang had just finished speaking, and before he could react, Wu Yu and the other 3 had already left the Sumi passage. This was also because Wu Yu and the others were fast enough. If they were a beat slower, I'm afraid Xuanzang's 9 golden Buddha realms would have taken action directly and captured them all. Before, in the South Sea realm, when Xuanzang and Xuanhuan fought, there was no help from the golden Buddha realm at all, and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva still had the power of the Buddha realm to support her. Even so, Xuanzang suppressed Xuanhuan Bodhisattva. Now that his 9 golden Buddha realms have gathered together, and Xuanhuan Bodhisattva has no Buddha realm to support her, it is even more impossible for her to be Xuanzang's opponent. Fortunately, Wu Yu and the others reacted quickly enough, and Wu Yu could open the passage to the Sumi world at any time, so he withdrew from the Sumi world in time. Back in the South Sea realm, Wu Yu put away the Ruyi Jinggu Bang and found that he was covered in cold sweat. He found that when he faced Xuanzang again, he felt an extremely huge pressure. Originally, when he trusted Xuanzang, he didn't have this feeling. Even if the other party was strong, he wouldn't feel too oppressive. But now, he felt that Xuanzang was a demon. No one knew what he wanted to do now. Did he want to completely destroy these 2 fairyland? Wu Yu couldn't guess at all. He only knew one thing, that is, if he fell into Xuanzang's hands again, Xuanzang would never let him have a chance to leave. As for what Xuanzang needed him to do, he certainly couldn't guess. Perhaps, the Ruyi Jinggu Bang had other functions, and Xuanzang might be able to use them? After returning to the South Sea realm, Bodhi Patriarch soon received a message. He said solemnly, the Jade Emperor has gathered many emperors and demons from the heavenly palace and hell, and has planned to attack the fairyland passage. Now they are all gathered in Kanglangtian. The saints and Buddhas who invaded the Tiangong fairyland from Kanglangtian have been completely suppressed. This time, the Jade Emperor intends to attack with all his strength. Although the Jade Emperor and other heavenly emperors and demons have long been dead and are puppets of the giant beast from outer space, they can still act according to their instincts when the giant beast from outer space is severely injured and asleep. Therefore, the Jade Emperor must take on such a responsibility to protect the Tiangong fairyland. The emperors and demons from all sides of the heavenly palace have gathered under the Jade Emperor's edict. That was the entire battle force of the Tiangong immortal realm, gathered together by the Jade Emperor. It was definitely much stronger than Wu Yu, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, and Bodhi Patriarch combined. If they attacked together, they might be able to defeat Xianzang? We must not miss such a big battle, maybe we can help. Bodhi Patriarch said in a deep voice, but remember, we must hide behind and follow quietly, and we must not be the first to be exposed. Okay. Wu Yu nodded. For this battle, it is very likely to determine the life and death of the Tiangong immortal realm, and Wu Yu certainly does not want to miss it. Once missed, there may be serious consequences that cannot be reversed. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1808. In the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm, the Jade Emperor summoned all the Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons above the 5th level, and they have all gathered in front of the Golden Passage of Kanglangtian. They obviously intend to rush directly into the Golden Passage and try to block the passage between the two realms from the source. This time, it can be said that all the Emperor Immortals in the Heavenly Palace and all the Emperor Demons in the Hell have gathered the most. In fact, in Wu Yu's opinion, it can be compared with the previous destruction of the Demon God realm and the pursuit of the Monkey King. Of course, when the Demon God realm was destroyed and the Monkey King was hunted down, all the Emperor Immortals in the Heavenly Palace and all the Emperor Demons in the Hell were controlled by the giant beast from outer space and acted like puppets. And now, the Jade Emperor and other Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons are acting according to their instincts. They don't want the Heavenly Palace Immortal Realm to be destroyed, so they rise up to resist and want to completely block the Golden Passage. Since the Jade Emperor and his men are all puppets devoured by the giant beasts from outer space, they have no memory or impression of the Heavenly Buddha Immortal Realm. As for what kind of existence these invading holy Buddhas are and why they invaded, it is even more impossible for them to know. Wu Yu hid in the dark with Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and his men, always paying attention to not being discovered by the Jade Emperor and his men. After all, the Jade Emperor and his men are still basically hostile to Wu Yu. Once they discover Wu Yu will not only lose his freedom, but more importantly, they will not be able to stop the war between the two major immortal realms. In Wu Yu's observation, more and more emperors and demons gathered. This time, the emperors of the heavenly court came in full force. The first people he saw were the Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother, and then the three pure ones, Daodi Tianzan, Yuanqi Tianzan, and Lingbao Tianzan. Among them, Daodi Tianzan is Tais Hanglajun, the respected old man who owns the Vajra cutter and the 8 trigrams furnace. At this moment, the three pure ones walked with the Jade Emperor with a serious look, looking at the golden passage in front of them where black holy Buddhas kept pouring out, with extremely solemn eyes. Behind them were the 4 heavenly emperors, including the Emperor of Ziwei in the central sky, the Emperor of Changsheng in the south pole, the Emperor of Qinghua in the east pole, and the Emperor of Tianhuang in the west pole. Together with the Jade Emperor, they were collectively called the 5 Emperors, with the Jade Emperor at the head. In the entire heavenly court, the 3 pure ones and the 5 Emperors were already the strongest existences. Wu Yu saw this and secretly estimated his own strength. Now he was definitely much weaker than the Jade Emperor. If he faced the Jade Emperor, he was not even a match for him. But to deal with an existence below the Jade Emperor, he would not be crushed by the other party with his current strength. Recently, he has made great progress. He has cultivated and comprehended the 7th level of the Supreme Saint Buddha realm and the Immortal Emperor of Eternal Life. The Sea of Heavenly Dao and the Sea of Buddhist Dharma have been created, which has made his strength soar. Although Wu Yu may still not be a match for an opponent of Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva level, at least he will not be as miserable as last time. And the emperors and demons from hell all gathered on the other side. Mainly led by the 10 Yama palaces, King Yama, King Qingguang, King Chujiang, etc., the 10 Yama palaces are the strongest in the 10,000 hells. There are also the black and white impermanents, Judge Kui Fajun, Mengpo, etc., all the emperors and demons who have reached the 5th level of the eternal emperor demon, all gathered in this place. In front of him, the gathering of immortals and demons in the sky really gave Wu Yu a sense of grandeur and magnificence. This feeling made him seem to see the scene of the destruction of the demon god world in the eternal emperor burial. At that time, the heaven and hell also went out in full force, which completely destroyed the demon god world. But the difference is that now the alien beast that controls the heaven emperor immortal and the hell emperor demon has been severely injured by the lord of the heavenly Buddha immortal realm, Tathagata, and fell asleep. Therefore, the emperor immortals and emperor demons gathered together now because they instinctively wanted to protect the heavenly palace immortal realm where they lived. Under this spirit, the emperor immortals and emperor demons were filled with righteous indignation and had endless hatred for the invading black holy Buddha. After all, in their opinion, they were living well, but these emperor demons suddenly invaded, which completely destroyed their living world. They were like big demons. Thousands of immortals and demons gathered together, magnificent. However, Wu Yu looked at the scene and couldn't help but think of the scene when he participated in the 10,000 Buddhas paying homage to the ancestor in the heavenly Buddha immortal realm. At that time, those who were qualified to compete for the holy Buddha's relics in the 10,000 Buddhas paying homage to the ancestor were basically the 5th level or higher holy Buddhas. If these holy Buddhas and the heavenly emperor immortals and emperor demons conflicted with each other, both sides would definitely suffer losses, and the two major immortal realms would definitely suffer irreparable huge losses. Which emperor immortals, emperor demons, and holy Buddhas would be able to survive at that time? Not to mention, no one knows Xianzang's purpose. Judging from the current situation, Xianzang is likely to want to make the Tiangong immortal realm and Tianfo immortal realm kill each other. As for what benefits this will bring to Xianzang, not to mention Wu Yu, even Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and Bodhi Patriarch are completely unclear. This matter must be the work of the people brought by Wu Yu. I don't know where the boy has gone now. If he is caught, he must be killed on the spot. Next to the Jade Emperor, the young and beautiful Queen Mother looked very indifferent. No matter what, the most urgent task now is to stop these invaders from continuing to attack the fairy land. This time it is related to the life and death of our Tiangong immortal realm, and we cannot neglect it. The powerful man of hell, Xuanhuan, who was dressed in a black robe and exuded black air, said in a deep voice. In this situation, all the emperors and demons are very nervous. No matter who it is, seeing so many black holy Buddhas breaking into the Tiangong fairyland and killing people, they are all very angry and want to take action immediately. However, before setting off, the Jade Emperor still encouraged the morale with a serious expression, Tiangong fairyland, life and death, I hope you will use all your strength to repel the strong enemy and close the two-world passage in front of you. When he said this, he even used some kind of emperor immortal magic, conveying a spiritual power of victory, which made all the emperors and demons in the field excited. In the golden passage ahead, there are still countless black holy Buddhas pouring out, but these black holy Buddhas have only one way to die in the eyes of the emperors and demons. The next moment, with the order of the Jade Emperor, many emperors and demons finally gathered together and rushed towards the golden passage. As they rushed towards the golden passage, it indicated that a war was imminent. When the Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons rushed out in a mighty force, Wu Yu and his men were not idle either. This time, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva even brought the White Buddha realm with him, thinking of a decisive battle. This time, the passage to the Sumi world must be closed. Tomorrow morning, 1 chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1809. Chapter 1803 Fierce Charge. Wu Yu, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, and Bodhi Patriarch followed the Jade Emperor's Emperor Immortal and Emperor Demon Corps and soon entered the Golden Sumi Passage. Only after entering the Sumi passage did everyone realize that there was already a large number of black holy Buddhas waiting here. These black holy Buddhas were all in the state of the holy Buddha's true body and the Buddha world together. Their whole body, including the Buddha world, was black, exuding a ferocious and cruel aura. Before the Jade Emperor led the Emperor Immortal and Emperor Demon to arrive, they were all waiting in the Sumi passage, and it is very likely that they gathered together under the control of Xianzang. And when the Emperor Immortal and Emperor Demon broke into the Sumi passage, these black holy Buddhas could not bear it immediately. They were violent in their hearts, and they would want to fight and release their anger when they saw any opponent. Now seeing so many Emperor Immortals and Emperor Demons coming, how could they bear it? The two sides gathered together the next moment, and the terrifying power instantly erupted in the Sumi passage. In the Tiangong Immortal Realm camp, the most dazzling one is the 5 extreme war gods under the Gochen Shanggong Tianhuan Great Emperor. These five extreme war gods are long-established super emperors. When the 5 of them join forces, their combat power is extremely strong. In the face of the invasion of the Holy Buddha, the 5 extreme war gods are full of fighting spirit and rush to the front. The Sky War God, the Earth War God, the Human War God, the North Pole War God and the South Pole War God, the 5 extreme war gods each carry infinite imperial realm immortal power, staring at the many black Buddha realms rushing in front, and all kinds of imperial magic and imperial immortal magic are displayed together. Opposite them, there are 3 black Buddha realms that are more terrifying than ordinary holy Buddhas. Namo Saluna Buddha, Namo Sandalwood Merit Buddha, Namo Narayana Buddha. These 3 holy Buddhas seem to be a trinity, just like the previous Namo Jingjanjun Buddha and Namo Jingjanexai Buddha. They can actually cooperate with each other in the war. Although the Buddha world pupils of these 3 holy Buddhas were fierce and brutal, they cooperated with each other perfectly. The power of the Supreme Holy Buddha came with their huge Buddha world, covering the sky, and countless black Buddha light handprints shattered the sky in the Sumi channel. They were at the same level as the 5 extremes war gods, and the next moment, the two sides collided with each other. The size of the 5 extremes war gods was not as big as the Buddha world, but the next moment, the 5 extremes war gods displayed their own imperial magical powers, and changed into the size of a small world, and wielded various epic artifacts in their hands. The power of thousands of stars and the explosion of the Earth's aurora burst in the field, shaking the entire Sumi channel and making the space tremble. The 3 holy Buddhas united together, and it can be said that no one can stop them in the Tianfo immortal realm. In the eyes of many holy Buddhas, they are more terrifying than Namo Jingjanjun Buddha and Namo Jingjanexai Buddha. However, at this time, under the violent storm-like attack of the 5 extremes war gods, the 3 huge black Buddha realms were quickly shattered by the impact. Before that, they had already devoured all the mortal beings in the Buddha realm and turned them into the power of the Holy Buddha, but they still could not resist the attack of the 5 extremes war gods. The next moment, the 3 Buddha realms were shattered, and Namo Saluna Buddha, Namo Sandalwood Merit Buddha, and Namo Narayana Buddha were completely killed. However, looking at the 5 extremes war gods, they were also very uncomfortable. They were also severely injured by the powerful attack of the 3 holy Buddhas before their death. They obviously did not expect that these 3 holy Buddhas actually had such powerful strength. They did not look very impressive in the Holy Buddha army, but they could attack and seriously injure all of them. At the intersection of the two sides, there was a black and red Holy Buddha. His right hand touched the ground seal and his left hand fixed the seal. When he waved his hand, he had the power to shake the sky and the earth. This is Namo Lotus Light Playful Divine Power Buddha, who was once one of the 35 Buddhas under the seat of Tathagata. Chanting the Buddha's name, saving the public virtues, and eliminating the sins of 7 kalpas in the past life. Its original color was red, but after the Holy Buddha realm heart was destroyed, it became black and red. Its chanting of the Buddha's name no longer eliminated sins, but was used to kill. At this time, countless Buddha's names burst out from his hands, turning into terrifying Buddha seals, and bursting out layers of void-shattering waves around. The two people who met Namo Lotus Light Playful Divine Power Buddha were Lei Gong and Dian Mu from the Heavenly Court. But the couple together were no match for this holy Buddha. When the black and red Buddha seals descended from all directions, the unparalleled repressive force came one after another, and the next moment the two emperors of Lei Gong and Dian Mu were completely shattered. Lei Gong and Dian Mu flew backwards completely, and the blood they spurted out turned into rivers, wandering in the Sumi passage. However, they were so tragic that no one noticed them in such a fierce battlefield. When Lei Gong and Dian Mu's empire was shattered and flew backwards completely, they were on top of the Eastern East King Hua Emperor. This Eastern East King Hua Emperor, also known as Taijiku Tianzun, sat on the nine-color lotus throne, with a nine-headed green lion under him. It was a big fairy beast, spitting green flames from its mouth, surrounding the throne, surrounded by nine-color divine light, and it was awe-inspiring when it attacked. Its imperial power and imperial immortal magic were mainly based on green flames, burning everything in the world, and with the nine-headed green lion sitting down, it had the power to split everything. Even the Namoleon Huaguanja Shentong Buddha, who was only evenly matched with the Eastern East King Hua Emperor, had little difference in combat power, and it was hard to tell who would win for a while. This shocked the Emperor King Hua of Dongji. What are these invaders? How can any of them fight him to a draw? Such strength is simply terrifying. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. How could he know that this Namoleon Light Game Magic Buddha is not just a random holy Buddha? In the former Tianfo immortal realm, this holy Buddha was one of the Buddhas sitting under Tathagata, the master of Tianfo immortal realm, and was also considered a top holy Buddha in Tianfo immortal realm. Then there was another Nanji Changsheng Emperor, who was emitting red light all over his body, floating from the void. This was a super emperor who could emit strange light, and his strength was similar to that of Dongji King Hua Emperor. When he rushed over and joined forces with Dongji King Hua Emperor, the blue flame and the red strange light cooperated with each other, and actually produced an extreme force that made the space burn. The next moment, he enveloped and surrounded the Namoleon Light Game Magic Buddha and began to refine it. The two emperors attacked, and in just a moment, the black and red holy Buddha could no longer hold on. His huge black and red Buddha world was completely melted into ashes under the refining of the green and red Emperor world immortal power. Such a cruel scene made Wu Yu's eyes tear up. These emperors and holy Buddhas are all one of the thousands of living beings. Even though one side is now a giant beast puppet from outer space and has lost its memory, and the other side has lost its holy Buddha world heart and lost its reason, if it weren't for Xianzang, the two sides would never collide and fight each other. And this scene is just a small microcosm of the entire battlefield. At 12 o'clock this Sunday night, which is 0 o'clock on Monday morning, 12 o'clock tomorrow night, Crazy will send a 1000 UN red envelope on WeChat. If you want to participate in the event, please follow Crazy's WeChat. Steps: open WeChat, click Add Friends, search for the public account Feng Qingyang, click Follow and wait for the red envelope. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1810. Chapter 1804, Heart of Sumi Realm. Tens of thousands of Saint Buddhas and Emperor Immortals all gathered in this golden Sumi passage, and started a great battle. Various Emperor Immortal magics, Emperor Dao magic, Saint Buddha Dharma, and Saint Buddha magics continued to erupt in the Sumi passage. Every vibration of space may cause Saint Buddhas or Emperor Immortals to be killed and completely annihilated in this void. And every collision between the Emperor realm and the Buddha realm also means that there are Emperor Immortals and Saint Buddhas fighting fiercely. As the Emperor realm and the Buddha realm are broken, the lives of Emperor Immortals and Saint Buddhas also pass away. Many Emperor Immortals or Saint Buddhas who used to dominate a region and guard a world just disappeared completely in the long river of history. Wu Yu saw all this and only hated that he did not have enough ability to stop it. He could only go through the Sumi channel quickly with Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and Bodhi Patriarch. For them, it was unrealistic to stop the battle between the Holy Buddha and the Emperor Immortal. Even if they could save one or two of the Emperor Immortals and the Holy Buddha, it would not affect the overall situation. So they had to cut off the Sumi channel completely. Enter the Sumi world from the channel to find the key to the Sumi channel, and perhaps save the Holy Buddha and the Emperor Immortal. Before, they went directly to the Sumi world, and met Xuanzang waiting for them. But now that such a big battle broke out in the Sumi channel, Xuanzang should not continue to wait in the Sumi world, right? Even if he was still waiting in the Sumi world, his attention should be more focused on the battle between the two worlds in the Sumi world. At this moment, the Emperor Immortal and the Holy Buddha were constantly fighting in the Sumi channel. The power of the Holy Buddha and the power of the Emperor Realm Immortal simply swept everything and destroyed everything in the void. But Xuanzang was nowhere to be seen, and it was very likely that he was hiding in the dark and observing all this. The situation in the entire Sumi passage was very chaotic. Wu Yu, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva, and Bodhi Patriarch passed through it, and no one noticed them at all. All the emperors and holy Buddhas were now bloodthirsty. After all, the emperors on the side of the Jade Emperor basically had no memory, and everything that supported their actions was based on instinct. When there was an invasion by foreign enemies, the instinct of these immortal emperors was to completely kill those invaders and keep them out. So they were all bloodthirsty, and even emperors continued to fall into a crazy mood. When there was no way to escape, they chose to detonate their own supreme divine world. The explosion of infinite Emperor Realm immortal power not only destroyed the Buddha world of nearby holy Buddhas, but also caused some emperors behind them to be severely damaged. This war between the two realms has been going on for now, and countless casualties have been caused. I don't know how many holy Buddhas and emperors have died. But the field is still chaotic, and more than 90% of the holy Buddhas and emperors are still fighting like they don't care about their lives. After all, the number of both sides is too large, and it will take a long time to annihilate each other. When Wu Yu and the other three passed through the Sumi passage, countless corpses were lying in the void. Many broken Buddha realms, remains of holy Buddhas, and corpses of emperors were all flowing with the void. Even these corpses were sometimes affected by the surrounding forces, and eventually broke into pieces, turned into fragments and dust, and disappeared completely. Such a tragic scene made Wu Yu clench his fists tightly. This must be stopped. Even if these emperors and holy Buddhas have no memories and are puppets, and have lost their realm hearts and violent temperaments, they should not die in such a meaningless fight. After all, in the Emperor realms and Buddha realms of these emperors and holy Buddhas, there are countless mortals and ordinary immortals and Buddhas. Compared with the holy Buddhas and emperors, these mortals and ordinary immortals and Buddhas are completely innocent. Follow me. I know where the realm heart of the Sumi world is located. Finally, the three of them left the Sumi passage and stepped into the Sumi world. Xuanhuan Bodhisattva led the way in front. She was in a bad mood now. After all, she was kind-hearted and saved all living beings. Seeing so many saints and emperors fighting and blood flowing into a red galaxy, she wanted to stop it as quickly as possible. The most straightforward way was to find the boundary heart of the Sumi world and destroy it. Once the Sumi world was destroyed, the Sumi channel created by the Sumi world would disappear completely. In this way, Xuanzang could not take the two fairyland together again. No matter what he was thinking, it would fail. They tried their best to maintain their own size and kept moving forward in the Sumi world. Finally, after a while, a golden planet appeared in front of them, stretching across the starry sky of the Sumi world. This golden planet looked extremely huge, but it was actually just a speck of dust. It was just that in the Sumi world, large things became extremely small, and small things became extremely huge. This speck of dust was the boundary heart of the entire Sumi world. As long as it was destroyed, the Sumi world would be destroyed. Hurry up and do it, or Xianzang will come over and it will be troublesome. After saying this, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva took the lead. Wu Yu and Bodhi Patriarch were naturally unwilling to lag behind. They knew that this was a very urgent moment, and it was very likely that if there was only a little time left, all their efforts would be wasted and they would fail. They had to destroy this world before Xianzang found out. Violent technique, a pillar to support the sky. Wu Yu held the Ruyi Jingbang in his hand, and the power of the Emperor realm burst out. At this moment, the power of the Golden Holy Buddha was also integrated into the Ruyi Jingbang, which greatly strengthened the power of his attack. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. The 7th level of the Supreme Holy Buddha realm and the 7th level of the Eternal Emperor realm, two completely different powers, merged into one at this moment, and fell on the dust of the Golden Planet. This is one of the strongest means that Wu Yu can burst out now. At the same time, Xuanhuan Bodhisattva and Bodhi Patriarch also launched an attack on the heart of the world. The vast white power of the Holy Buddha and the Emperor power of Bodhi Patriarch fell on the heart of the world. However, as the three of them attacked, the Golden Planet was not damaged at all. Although it was trembling with the power of the three of them, it was still a long way from being destroyed. But the trembling of the Golden Heart by the attack of the three of them seemed to alarm Xianzang. As their offensive became more and more fierce, before they could damage the boundary core, Xuanzang's figure came across the void, and behind him were the 9 huge golden Buddha realms. The 9 huge golden Buddha realms descended, each with a look of compassion, and then a huge and tyrannical force swept towards Wu Yu and the other two, completely blocking their attack on the boundary core. Stop it! Xuanzang's voice came through the void. His young monk-like holy Buddha body clasped his hands together and flew out from the center of the 9 golden Buddha realms. There is one more chapter tomorrow morning. At 12 o'clock this Sunday night, that is, 0 o'clock on Monday morning, 12 o'clock tomorrow night, Crazy will send a 1000 yuan red envelope on WeChat. To participate in the event, please follow Crazy's WeChat. Steps: open WeChat, click Add Friends, search for the public account Feng Qing Yang, click Follow and wait for the red envelope.